Welcome to the Next Level Official Podcast. We're here with the guys, Palo, New Face, and myself, Speedy. What are we doing, guys?
What's up,
How's
audience?
the week been treating you guys?
Amazing. My week has been great.
Palo's looking large and in charge.
Thank you.
The biggest.
Thank you, I guess. I mean, like
someone who doesn't know how to adjust his Zoom functions on his.
It's zoomed all the way out. That's why they call me Grande.
It's as close as you can get to the camera, I'm guessing. But there's a lot of new things we haven't been on in a couple of weeks, so the world has been turning. Something that just dropped recently is Disney's What Ifs. So it's a new TV series that's been created by AC Bradley. I'm interested in this for the mere fact that I love animated series that kind of posed on this. Reminds me of the Animatrix. What are you guys' thoughts?
I get you.
I'm a fan of the What If comic series in general. I remember reading a couple of them back in the day. And I think it's a great addition to the already growing freaking Marvel universe. So I don't know. Do you guys feel it's a one and done, or do you think there's going to be continual seasons? Or...
This is a cash cow for Disney because they can dispense any kind of what if. And for the first episode came out,
acting like they just made this up. Like, I mean, it's part of the universe.
But you're right. But I'm just saying, like, even beyond that, they can just throw shit out. And they're already talking about the first episode drop, and we have Captain Carter, and they're already asking, like, fans are already asking, they're like, can we get a live action of this? And so that's what I'm saying. It's just a cash cow because if they don't like the episode, they just wasted an episode instead of a movie, which is.
Well, I mean, the series itself, I think there's going to be 9. This is really the only season. So these are not part of any kind of story. The grain scene of the Marvel MCU universe cinematic. You don't need to watch any of this and still be able to track everything that's going into Phase 4. The thing that I liked about this
is it canon? Really, I heard it's canon.
Everything's canon, bro. The thing I really liked about this is that the characters really, in their essence, they look like the individuals from Captain America, right? All of them that were in there, for the most part, the only one that really, like the ones that you had people like Haley Atwell, she voiced Peggy Carter in there. You had Toby Jones, you had Neil McDonough, like all those guys are actually voicing their own characters. But like really, and even Samuel Jackson did it. And like the one that was kind of disappointing was Chris Evans not being a part of it and being a part of it. And so like I just found it was really interesting when they pivoted from where it was in Captain America kind of world for that first one to when it split from her. He probably posted another picture and had to be deleting it instead of jumping online. But I just found it very good with the pivot. It actually, like in the movie, it's the exact same thing. So moving along, like it just kind of followed all the essence of it. The animation of it was really well done. So I'm interested in it. Like Disney has been doing some really good stuff as of late when they're talking about their service here.
Yeah, the animation reminded me of A Scanner Darkly. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but it was real fluid, almost just that live action with that animation on, like, kind of painted over it. The thing I'm wondering is the comics itself, though, they only went up to about 13 volumes, so they only had about 13 tales in their category. So assuming that What If season 1 is already going to be doing 9 episodes, that's going to already cut it way in half. So I kind of see what Speedy's saying, but I also kind of see what Palo's saying, because that does give them like free reign to kind of create their own what ifs that really haven't even been introduced from the comic standpoint. So this it's interesting. It is very interesting, and it's kind of I think it's definitely a great new direction to see them go. That's how I feel about it.
And to Palo's comment, like all the things that are out there, Disney does need more and more content. They hit 103 million subscribers, so they're really close and they're even increasing. Way ahead. Yeah, we know. Way ahead of most people when they're talking about some of those secondary streaming services like Paramount with all their Star Trek that no one watches. So
I didn't even mention that Lord Dex came back this week.
It did. I'm just gonna keep that season two. Season 2 came out. I'll be watching it with you. It's probably the only thing that's watchable in the Star Trek universe, but it's being cartoon. So what can you say? What can you say?
Yeah, I'm not going to touch the Star Trek. Yeah, I'm going to leave that alone this time. Leave it alone.
Also on the new game front, there's a new Castlevania game coming to Apple Arcade. Apple Arcade has been dropping several games of late. Hopefully we'll get some reviews out there, but this one's kind of exciting. Brings us back. I definitely remember playing the Castlevania on the NES, rolling through that. So it's that side scroller type of games. I'm looking for something to play on my phone. Other than
I agree, man. There hasn't really been a lot to play, and with Castlevania, this includes the same designer Ayama Kojima and composer Michiru Yaman from. No, I will not say it again. But those are the same iconic people who are actually included in Symphony of the Night. So if anybody remembers, PlayStation had an astounding stellar sale, especially with Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That pretty much put Castlevania back on the map from its Nintendo era. So to see them on the iPhone in the Apple Arcade, it definitely is going to breathe new life, not only into the series, but also give people who haven't played it a chance to see what we already know. So this will be nice.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there supposed to be a Castlevania movie at some point?
Well, there was a TV show, right?
Okay,
TV show cartoon.
Is that what that
lasted? Was? Yeah, they have a final season, and it actually lasted a lot longer than I thought. Okay. And I'm actually happy it's ending because I do want to check it out. I have a thing with checking out series sometimes because I kind of get, you kind of get into it, and then it has like a severe drop off, and it doesn't really keep the same momentum, and then you feel like they're reaching for shit, and you're just like, you know what, I'm done.
Well, so, like to that point, one of the things that we hadn't really discussed about here was the whole He-Man. Master of the Universe kind of controversy that's been out there. So
maybe we can make another little episode on that this coming week, just so we can throw out some kind of He-Man news. Would be kind of
throw out some hate. Is that what we're saying?
Some hate. Well, some hate and love. It'd be Kevin Smith is kind of in a pickle, and I don't know what the deal is. We'll have to talk about. Well,
he likes some pickles.
We'll have to leave that for another.
I'm gonna let him know.
Yeah, you call him.
I got his number.
Call him on it.
It's right here.
Yo, Kev.
You're talking about some of the older games here that we got going out. Rockstar is reportedly remastering a lot of some of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy for them from the PS2 era. Their Rockstar Games Dundee Studio is remastering some of the 3 classics on the PS2. I'm looking forward to Vice City because I really enjoyed Vice City when it came out.
Yeah.
I think it was the music, just the whole Miami
the
Vice
whole 80s,
kinda,
man. Oh,
the whole vibe. And
totally agreed. Yeah.
I think of all of those would be the one that I'd be looking to play. But it's interesting again, kind of going to that retro time there. I hope they do it right. If it's not just a straight port and they just update it, there's a little bit newer content that's associated with it. So we'll see what happens out there.
Definitely with that.
Big on the gaming front that we've recently started playing Back for Blood. Beta has released. Is it the beta or the alpha?
It's an open beta. It's an open beta.
So this system is it's a first-person shooter. It's developed by Turok Studios. You have some of the developers that were in the back. What was the series? Left 4 Dead series.
Left 4 Dead, yeah.
From the original split from Valve. So we got a chance to play this last night as it dropped on there.
Well, 2 of us did.
2 was it? Yeah. I mean, you can't hold that against them. Like that's the whole thing. Like anytime a beta drops, and specifically like as well put together as it was visually, There's always going to be some issues that are running out there. So one specifically, we had a lot of connection issues for us teaming up, getting the squad ready, getting in there and popping some caps.
I think it was your experience, Noob? I think it was Noob that he was just getting too scared and he's like, "Oh guys, I'm losing connection here. Oh my god."
I think it was
He's getting
connection is what it was, because we found out very early that there was friendly fire. Thanks, Noob. And
dude,
that continued to be throughout the night.
I was telling Steph about that because I found it so fucking hilarious, because it was so difficult for Palo and I to stay in the party because he was quitting out and it was just real janky. And then finally everything kind of seemed to stabilize and we're like, oh, okay, Speedy, get in. So you got in, and then I wanted to I was all excited because I had just discovered the whole firing arena or the whole
firing range,
and I was like, oh man, cool. So I was so freaking stoked because I had this shotgun that had a silencer. It was like totally decked out, and I was like, Speedy, check it out, bop bop. And you were like,
I literally walked out of the protective area,
dude,
for you
through
to
the door 2 steps down.
For you to shoot me, and then it was on for like a straight 5 minutes of everyone just murdering each other.
It was really funny, but suffice it to say, the gameplay itself was actually really stellar. I was actually really impressed, even for a beta standpoint, on how well the game seemed to have come. I've played Left 4 Dead, and being that this is by the same developers of Left 4 Dead, it's actually interesting because Back 4 Blood seems to have this different, but you can feel how much of a team co-op game this is, right? Like it's necessary and it's really fun. It's really fun.
And frankly, I like the friendly fire. Like it makes the game a little bit more tactical. So Noob can't just be running through doorways, shooting everything.
Like always.
Hitting with the hatchet.
Hey man, hey guys, why are you shooting me? Because you're in front of us, you fool.
Because I have an LMG and I'm laying suppressive fire, and you can't run and hit a zombie.
Speedy calls it suppressive fire. He's more like spray and pray, because he's like, hey guys, I'm out of ammo.
Hey, I went through the ammo pretty quick. But as far as the game,
300 rounds left over. And I had more kills.
I didn't have any. You did not have more kills.
You had more kills because everyone lagged out. I don't know how you got. I don't know how your connection was stable.
That's bull.
It was because he was just hiding up on top, doing nothing.
If anybody believes that Palo got more kills due to skill, wink at me. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But the Back 4 Blood beta hasn't been without controversy because of the game's mechanics. They have a lot of randomization when it comes to the zombies and talking about some of the audio aspects. And so they have all these grunts and growls and everything. Well, recently, some of those growls and grunts were caught on streaming sounding like some bad language, racial slurs that were going out there. The company has responded. That was nothing that they intended, but it was just the randomization that happens when some of the zombies growl. I do believe them because I've seen it in the past, and I sent Palo this picture earlier for No Man's Sky where the randomization was showing up and they were like aliens look like penis. Like that was all the rage when No Man's Sky came up, just because of all the randomization.
Noob face Wonderland.
Noob had a palace there. It was on a hill. And I'm all running around. I had to ask permission to land on that planet. He was the only person there. But like most planet people just stop, get some gas, go. No, it looked like a wonderland. It was actually Michael Jackson's Wonderland.
Y'all fucking wow. You went there. You went there. Wow.
Oh my god.
What's funny?
We're gonna get sued.
What's funny is the small penis colony hadn't got colonized, so you fuckers showed up. So thank you. Thank you fucks. Thank you fucks for showing up.
Someone's on the cleanse.
Someone's angry. I don't know what's that all about. Spit a little bit of truth bombs and someone goes all crazy.
Thank you guys.
Here. But switching gears here to some new technical items that are out there. Looks like Razer is trying to clean up with some of the latest accessories that are going to be offered for keyboards. I know there's quite a bit of customization out there. Every every Twitch streamer that's out there wants to be different and have the coolest LBGs. I was going to say, I don't even know what I was going to say. RBGs.
RGB.
They can have some LBGs too if they want them, but it's going to be a totally different new setup there. But they're offering some new pieces here in the keyboard world. I know Noob is excited about this. He likes to run with a mechanical keyboard that's louder than gunshots whenever he's typing. If you've ever watched this stream on Twitch,
sounds like a train coming down.
It's like and then when Palo's typing, we understand that he only types with 2 fingers, so we can hear it. It's just like
it's fucking Morse code.
It's interesting here just from the fact that, like we saw earlier, Razer was trying to get into the mask, the world there with some of their things. So like
they're still in production for those.
So it's already completed, and they've already done testing, and they're gonna start releasing them.
They're having some previews of it. I think just recently, like they're showing how the mask like connects in, and
I just want a shirt that says RBG Life. You know, for real, like all the little lights that are in those things. Like I don't know what the fascination is with so many colors and light streaming from every which way, but it's out there for you guys.
If you had something like that, you're gonna be walking down the street, and all those like people with sensitive eyes are gonna just be dropping left and right. Yeah. Come on now.
So Razer's items here are going to be ranging from $20 to $50. Hopefully we'll drop some images here for you guys so you can take a look at if that interests you, and then shoot out to their website out there. One of the things that caught our eye, specifically new faces here, as the Tonestone, the makers behind Left 4 Dead and Guitar Hero, are dropping a music production app for beginners. It looks really powerful, especially for someone that doesn't know how to make any music. I know there's more talented individuals out there. What do you see like this doing for us, Noob? Like out there for all those other individuals, aside from some of the stuff that's been there, like Garage Band, you know, whatever all that Apple stuff is.
So, I mean, the cool thing about it is I think it's just a cool way for people to make music for those who don't normally make music. You know, somebody who just wants to, you know, basically put something together that sounds good, have an easy to use platform to do so that isn't so complicated. You know, it's not like, you know, Fruit Loops or Logic or, you know, anything crazy like GarageBand. You know, this is way more simplified. You know, it's an app, and that's the coolest thing about it. Now, the app is not out yet, but there is a beta that you can sign up for, and currently, from what I heard, it's actually maxed, but you can still put yourself on the list. So in the event that they do expand the app for more users, you may be selected as one of the people to download it. But I mean, man, there's just so many. As far as Reason is another app that people use, but this is kind of, I think in the long run will just be a nice niche for somebody who wants to kind of get more familiar but doesn't really want to spend that kind of money to do so. This is a great area for them to begin at. So it's cool deal, man.
Didn't cool Rock Band have a thing like that? Like, you know, because way back in our days, a couple of years back, where they had like the plastic guitar, but then they made another Rock Band that you can actually hook up your guitar to it. Didn't they have?
I mean, they've even had Mario Paint. Remember back in the day with Mario Paint that you could be able to do stuff like this. I think it's really cool just for the fact that a lot of people need music. We need music. So, you know, you can make your own, drop a couple beats.
Yeah.
It could be like Sun Chips before we know it.
And I think that's just the cool thing about it, you know, is for people to make, you know, beats on the go or just have some fun, you know, whether they have some downtime and they don't feel the need like they have to break out a laptop or hook up, you know, mixers and you know, additional, you know, devices. You know, it's all, you know, everything's kind of like in its own little space, and you can kind of create at your own free will. And I think that's the coolest part about it, man. And if you think about it, that's where our age is going, where everything that we're so used to having complex devices for is actually becoming very easable and easy use in the mobile way. Yeah. So it's perfect. perfect. It's a good deal, man.
I like it. Anything that could make me sound more artistic than I am right now. Drop a couple beats. You missed my Sunchips plug there. Little feet pick. Y'all remember the feet pick? We'll drop the link.
No.
Great song.
No.
You want to see them feet pick? Talking about things that we don't want to see or actually really just been delayed. Venom, Let There Be Carnage has been delayed to October 15th. Why do we think that's going? Is you think it's because of the latest kind of surge of everything, or is it just because it's a crappy movie and they're just trying to get it out of sweeps?
I mean, the first one to me was actually well done. It was entertaining and fun. I would not say it's great by any means, nor should it be something I think people's, if anybody has that one movie as their favorite movie, slap them. But in all honesty, it has a lot to do with I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we're going through this second kind of wave of the pandemic, and not that many people go into the theater. So therefore they want that hard revenue for it, and they don't feel they're going to get that with streaming. To me, that's where it lies.
Yeah, and this is the third time it's been pushed for Sony Films. So third time.
Ghostbusters has been pushed back. Maverick has been pushed back. Maverick is set to release in November, but still, it's still questionable.
They can push that to next year.
If you
questionable about that.
Fall Guy with Ryan Reynolds, or what is it? Free Guy.
That's coming out. Yeah,
it just got released today, but the only way you can see that is in the theater. So there are some productions that are pushing the movies to theaters because everybody still has that option to go. But personally, if we were to take numbers down right now, that movie is not going to do good. Not because it's not a good movie or entertaining, but just not a lot of people going out there to risk it. For the biscuit.
It's not a movie I'm going to risk it for the biscuit to begin with. So
exactly,
when Keanu Reeves puts out a new movie, maybe I'll risk it for the biscuit.
Anything
Keanu,
anything you put out, baby.
For Keanu, baby.
That'll be the Matrix 4, which was I think is next year anyway. So
that movie may be out before Top Gun.
That's true.
If Top Gun never comes out, I'll be all right with it. And from the previews I've seen, it looks like a regurgitation, like literally just vomited the same movie, but try to make it cooler, and it doesn't. It's already been done.
In HDR.
Yeah, in HDR with Tom Cruise flying a different plane, trying to pretend he's going to be Jeff Bezos and be an astronaut. It just does not look appealing to me. Something that is not necessarily this, but the actor itself, Idris Elba, is going to be cast as Knuckles in Sonic 2.
He's appealing to you. You've said that.
Dude.
Oh.
Maybe.
You go down that road.
Maybe. You hear him talk? The dreamy voice?
So it is something with Idris Elba. What's going on with him?
He's going to be cast as Knuckles, or at least voice acting for this next Sonic 2. I enjoyed the first one. Specifically, it was even after they did the revision with not so creepy Sonic, they dropped a new movie poster for it. It looks like it's got Knuckles' hand in it. We'll throw it up here on the screen for everyone to see. I'm interested. Like the first one was, it was a great movie to watch with the kiddo. He enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it,
and I watched it, and like I was able to sit through it. I thought Jim Carrey was amazing in it. The first round go around. So I'm interested in seeing what happens in this next one, even if they bring back Jim Carrey or not, for that.
I hope they do, because he's he's Robotnik, and Robotnik, he's been in every single Sonic game per se. He's the main villain. So I really do hope he comes back. And if he does, I really hope he's done in a different style, like his mustache and beard. Like I hope something's different about him. More
to what we saw in the game. A little bit bald headed, the mustache, more rounderness.
Yes.
That's the way you could say it. But side note, Jim Carrey's amazing. Like I love watching all of his movies. We were just watching one last night, so Liar Liar, and so I'm always interested in seeing something else that he may have put out. But for the big shebang, things that dropped within the last couple of weeks while we've been gone, Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad.
Let's get it right.
The James Gunn version. So
the Marvel version.
So let me start out by saying I watched this the very beginning with my neighbors who came over. We had a movie night, so we put it on and we're checking it out. As soon as everybody bit the dust in the first like 10 minutes, my neighbor was like, "Look, let's shut this shit off. Like it looks shitty." And I kind of agreed with him. I was like, "Yeah, you're so right." And let me tell you, when it said Warner Brothers and blood in the water, I was kind of like, "What the fuck?" I was not expecting this corniness kind of deal. But when I actually saw the movie through and through, I still wasn't like wowed. I wasn't like, oh my God, but I had a different type of appreciation for it because to me, it was a lot better than the one with fucking Jared Leto. I think it was so much better.
It is, and it wasn't like, right.
Yeah.
Like I like that whole beginning scene. Then I'm with your neighbor. Like you guys were like, "Hey, dude, Suicide Squad's out. Let's watch it." Yeah, I started watching it like at night, and then I got through that part right after the Savant died, got his head blown up, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go to bed. It's already midnight. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Like,
I'll watch it later." But it's kind of all over the place out there. So IBDM is showing it at 7.5. Rotten Tomatoes has it as a 91% rating, which is really high.
Really?
Metacritic has it at 74. Yeah, so it's just kind of like all over the place. Like I felt that really big corniness, but then there's like really, really good anchored, like
there's
like
some good comedy
with Idris Elba, like that whole scene where he's cussing and fighting with his daughter. Like that was like pretty passionate and like very dramatic for this type of movie with James Gunn, with the bird eating the brain of Savant as it's flying away, like that kind of crap. And so like I felt like it just
which is the same bird that he killed with the ball in the beginning, which I thought was ironic and funny.
Yeah,
they definitely had a lot of nuances, but I agree, man. Like the comedy and a little bit of the dramatics really help. And I personally think if Margot Robbie or is it Margot Robbie and Idris Elba didn't care,
crazy with their name now. Robbie
didn't carry the weight that they had, I don't think the movie would have been as successful as it is by any means.
I was just disappointed. I don't know how you feel about this, Pale or Noob. Like when they kept promoting this movie, they kept talking about how huge the cast was, like how big it was, like how many people were in it.
5 minutes.
And literally in the first 5 minutes, like half of the dumb ones just die. And then you're down to like the same like 8 characters the whole movie runs around.
Dude, but how fucked up was it that that what's her name sent Harley Quinn and Rick Flag with the dumb shits? She's like she was done with them. Like she wanted to kill them off. It seemed.
I have a whole I have a whole problem with Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. Like I just don't like him. Like I don't
he's
think
dead now. So
I don't think. Yeah, thanks for ruining it for everyone that's out there.
Oh, it's been a week. You get
that
1 week
of an actor to be playing like that lieutenant colonel, like war hero. Like he's a skinny. He's got like a freaking wet napkin can knock his ass down in half the movies, dude. And I'm just like, I don't see it, especially when you have like John Cena's character, who's like this big buffed up dude, and it's just I like that. Like Idris Elba, like him as and he was Bloodsport, right? His character was freaking awesome. Like of all the characters and like the whole banter between him and Cena. Like I don't think Cena's a great actor at all, but the scene when they're like killing each other and they're like topping it, like I found that quite hilarious. And then other aspects throughout the movie, but like I just felt robbed at the very beginning because here I'm like thinking, I want to see Pete Davidson make a fool of himself as his superhero role, and literally his face gets shot off like within the first 5 minutes of talking of the film.
But you know what though, I personally think that was the huge like gotcha moment. Yeah. And what was when he's like, dude, this has like the biggest cast ever, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh shit, like this is gonna go off, right? All of a sudden, like fucking 13 motherfuckers get mowed down in the very beginning. You're like, holy fuck, like, did that shit just happen? Like, really? Like, right? Because like whenever they showed the trailer and the previews, it was like Savan, and they showed this to that, you know, and all these other characters, like, oh my god, this is gonna be a fucking like a shit show of like no name characters. And then to see them all go down like in the first like fucking 5 minutes was, to me, I was like, what the hell? But at the same time, like, no way, like this, what, show me more, like, show me more. I gotta see
how do you think James Gunn sold Michael Roker as the freaking savant and being dead, like when he's played such a big part in all his Guardians of the Galaxy,
and then he runs away.
How do you think he sold him this movie? To, like, do you think it was like a favor or something? Like it was horrible.
It was an IOU. It was an IOU.
Like, it was like, James, you're gonna screw me, and this is stupid. It's like literally he was there for like 3 days on set or something. Like it was
probably.
Like,
but I bet you got paid. I bet you got paid.
But I don't. But I see, that's the thing, though, man. I don't think. I mean, true. I totally wholeheartedly believe in both you guys' comments. But the funny thing about it is, he's like, I fucking die in like the first 2 minutes. He goes, oh my god, this is gonna be killer, right? Like this is like you wouldn't expect it, right? Because he's Wandu. Like you got to give him some due respect. You know, the man's come through. So to have him go, it was all good. Cena, that motherfucker, I don't think he can act, right? I don't think he's a horrible person. I just don't think he can act. But he's so fucking big, right? That motherfucker does not fit in a goddamn scene. Like it has to be fucking IMAX ratio in order to get this motherfucker in the fucking frame.
We were gonna go 3-4, but we can't go 3-4 just because his shoulders block everything.
Steph and I were watching the new Fast and Furious, and I remember in one scene where it was Dom and him because they're brothers, and I was like, holy shit! I was like, Cena does not fit in a fucking scene. Like he's just gargantuan, fucking big. But what didn't help Cena is not only his acting, his outfit, man, was just not believable. Like that fucking the toilet, whatever the fuck. I was just like that whole thing. Like you, like for instance, right? You could have given him some darker colors. You could have made him more gritty, right? But instead, he popped out like a fucking all-American popsicle.
Well, I mean, that helmet was like 6 inches thick. Like it's like literally like off his
I'm
forehead.
sure you know. I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, it's half the size of what I got, so like I know it's what it is for sure.
I think we're talking about the scene where they were doing the rescue and they didn't know they were with the fucking who were they?
Oh, like the freedom fighters,
the freedom fighters, the rebels, and they're like, yeah, I got rebels out there. They're all helping, and they're like, oh, we didn't see any.
One of my troops, and they were like, oh yeah, we didn't see anyone. And like, but like, like that's the other thing. Like, I'm telling you, like this movie goes from like the plausible and like, you know, it's a superhero movie, so there's going to be some on the edges, but like stupid stuff like Cena like shooting darts at people with a little toothpick, like he's got in the side of his pants. Like, how's he carrying that around? Like, he's got a massive. His gun was like as big as his fucking head, and he's all rolling and shoot. Like, he's got a little dart. He's like, I see. Like, I don't know if this was like done on purpose with James Gunn.
I think
but,
it
like,
all
just
was,
like,
man.
But like, it's just like. Some of it was funny, some of it wasn't. Like the whole Fulaborg with the javelin, like he's trying to tell Harley like she can carry it in his fort, and then he dies, and she's like beating the crap out of him, like
or who's the guy that dies when towards the end, and they're like he's dead, and they're like who? He's like he's been with us the entire time. Was it Malcolm or Melvin or
yeah, like when he gets shot, like
Milton.
Milton. He's like, he's been with us the whole day, and he's like, is that the guy? I thought he was in the bus. Like stuff like that that was comical, but like it lingered for just a little bit too much, like comedic timing wise. So,
but my ultimate favorite was Idris Elba when they were fighting the fucking starfish. When he looks at Polka Dot Man, and he goes, "Look, it's your mom," and you just see like
See,
mom
like
huge.
I wish
like,
they had
what?
done a little bit more with him because his character was like super flawed and weird. Like they built him up with like all those polka dots that were like generating all over his face. And he's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine."
Right.
Like, "Oh, I just had to do this." And like the whole running thing with his mom, like he sees his
Oh
mom
my
everywhere.
God.
Like that part when they're in the club
Club.
dancing, and it's just like all his mom's like, "Dude, that was so disturbing but funny at the exact same time." Like I would have loved to have seen a little bit more than that, but like I don't know if it's just James Gunn, just because really all I can really remember is the Guardian of the Galaxies for him and how well that's done.
Oh,
But
he
it
did
just
Star
felt like
Trek,
yeah, but
and then he did Super 8, which I liked. I mean, I thought those movies
I don't
were
think
good.
I've really seen all that much, but like I felt like he was applying the filter of Guardians of the Galaxy to this particular movie. Palo, his screen froze for a second over here.
That wasn't me.
It looked like you were in an immense amount of pleasure. For a second. Your eyes were rolling back through your eyes. It totally threw me off. It creeped me out. Actually, it was I don't know. I'll never see that again. But the effect was like I felt like he was trying to apply some of that Guardians of the Galaxy to this particular movie, especially when it came to the shark and Sylvester Stallone. Like it just mimicked way too much with Groot. And like only having 3 syllables and like the whole progression of that character.
Dude, I love it when he's like reading the book and he's like, it's upside down. He's fucking lying. He's like, he's trying to read it. It's like, dude, it's like, but here's the funny thing, like having such an A-lister like Stallone doing like one of the like slapstickest, weirdest character, but totally just giving that character the life, the essence, the jokeness, just I was like, dude, like that's like I like in a weird way, it's like he knew exactly what he was doing and he deployed it to perfection, in his mind.
You do know Sylvester Stallone did nothing to animate the character, right? It was just the voice.
I know, but still, I mean, look, he basically did the same kind of noises he did with Dread. I am the law.
That's like Demolition Man. That's Dread.
Yeah,
that's like every movie you've ever seen him in. That's Rocky. All of them.
But it was so classic because even for those who didn't know who it was, right? Because Steph, when we watched it, had no idea. But as soon as he was like, she's like, is that Sylvester Stallone? Like, it's like boom, man. And I just, and it's like to me, he gave these big characters, these big names, like these really small ones. And if you notice, people like Polka Dot Man and Rat Girl, who made these lasting impressions in the movie, weren't really that big. Weren't really big names, but they brought a lot to the table, and I mean, it's half and half. It's like
I'm all right with that because like even Harley Quinn, like Margot Robbie, like she had some other roles in like The Wolf of Wall Street, but they were like totally different from this particular role. And I think with this role, she's expanded out quite a bit. But what are you doing? What are you doing?
That's what he does in the beginning sequence.
Yeah.
Off her butt cheeks.
Oh,
come on, man.
He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. For Wall Street, baby.
Oh my God. But
moving forward.
But
that's the end of that.
When I watched it a little bit, I've watched it a second time, so it couldn't have been that horrible if I've watched it now twice. But I think that the parts that I enjoy the most are really kind of like those 3 characters that you talked about, the Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, and Idris Elba, kind of the blood sport, because there's nothing better than that last scene, like you were talking about earlier, when he's like, "That's your mom," and then like you look and the star's not there, and it's like his mom. She's just like my kiddo was laughing, dude. He was like, "Oh my God, look at her. That looks like mom when she's angry." And I was like, "You better shut up." and like the whole point where he's like shooting her leg and like it blows away, like that was hilarious. Like that, like he was like, "I'm finally a hero," and then he gets smushed. And like,
dude, there was nothing.
That's over.
Yeah. It was yeah, it was interesting, man. I think just the bottom line, hope the more interesting thing will be to see what spawns from this. So we don't know if there's going to be another one or what. So
I mean, do you think there's an opportunity for really a follow on with this one, or would you just want it to stand alone the way it is?
Personally, I would want it to stand alone. Personally, I would just leave it be.
I would say that they need to go in this type of direction where they, like, Warner Brothers lets go of the director and just kind of let him do his own thing, because that's what you saw out of this compared to all the other fucking DC movies.
But I mean, we've seen that now with 2 DC movies, right? With Justice League 2, with when they got
Zack Snyder.
So Zack Snyder's the Snyder cut, and like the whole, like, how much better that movie was than the very first one. Other than it was like 3 movies in one. But needless to say, I would watch that, like, that type of movie again with those type of characters and the story that was driven behind them. I would be interested in. I just don't like it repeating the same garbage over and over.
That's my bag too.
With as many people they annihilated in this movie, like, it's not much to go. Like, it's gonna be like a whole new crew of dudes that are gonna be murdered in the first 5 minutes with this.
Yeah.
So
James Gunn didn't even know of Birds of Prey. When he filmed the movie, he had
not
no idea.
A lot of people do. Not a lot of people.
And I've yet to watch it, and I think that proves your point, and that's exactly kind of how I feel. Like I kind of feel like, look, man, if Warner Brothers making a movie, they need to put all the eggs in the basket, fucking roll the dice and let it go. If a movie's 4 hours, let it be 4 hours, because it's not going to do you any harm than what you've already done. So what do you really have to lose in the long run?
Yep.
You're only making it better, by anything, if you're letting these directors, have full autonomy, over the movie and their vision, right? Because that's why you hired them to begin with. Let them do their fucking job and let them produce the movie that they envision. And for James Gunn, hey man, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. I don't want to see another one. I think it's good to go. Hopefully Warner Brothers follow suit. Yeah, man. Yeah, guys. So with that being said, man, I think we've definitely covered a lot of ground. For everybody watching, thank you so much for checking out Next Level Official Podcast. We'll be back next week.